As a young graduate in Germany or within the EU region or even anywhere in the world, sometimes it can be a little bit tricky, a little bit confusing, when you go into the job market, you're looking for a job, you're trying to nail an interview, or you're just trying to, just scan what is available in the market. You're probably looking for a working student job or any kind of job per se. The most important thing is that you're applying to companies for them to get to know you, for them to make you an offer. And this can be a little bit tricky if you don't have any previous experience. This is why I'm here for you. Hey guys, my name is Ada. Welcome back to Ada's Place. If you're new to this space, welcome. Here we do knowledge and tips in the midst of vibes. You can go through all of my content and you can see something that will probably be educative to you or something that will just entertain you, with my vlog and stuff. But today I'm going to be talking about the things to look out for or how to prepare for your first interview. I made a previous video on how to get the interview or how to get the company to call you back, when you have to prepare your CV and how to even send out applications. And I'm guessing that you were successful for you just get the first interview, and now you're thinking of how you can prepare for this first interview. And that's why you have me. Okay, that's why I'm here for you. If that's what you're looking out for in this video, please keep it low. Yeah, let's get right into it. Congratulations, the recruiter found your CV so interesting that they want to get to know more about you. They probably sent you an email to schedule a call to get to know, a little bit about your experiences and also to give you an opportunity to learn more about them. And you're probably freaking out. You don't know what to do next. You don't know where to start from, or you're just thinking what is the best thing to do. So the first thing I would recommend you do is to first of all make a research on the company, like a proper research on the company. Of course, before you send out your application to them, before you applied for this role, they you probably know little bits and pieces of the role itself and also of the company, and you didn't make a very in-depth analysis or very in-depth research on what the company does, the product or the services they render to clients or to customers. This is an opportunity for you to do a proper dig dive, like really dig in to know what this company is about. What is their vision? What is their mission statement? And something else that's super important to know is to know about the values of this company. So as I said, first things first, find out, make more research about them, know what the products they are offering, what services they are offering, so that you can also know how this relates to you as a person. So say for instance, if this company is a software company, you need to understand a particular line of software or software services they offer and how it applies to you as a person, and then how they help to solve the problems of their customers and how you can contribute to this. This is why you need to make more research about the company. And it's also good for you to know what are the latest news, latest trends, what is happening in the company right now. Are they having this scale up? Are they trying to hire a lot of people? Are they expanding? Or what latest news have you heard about them? Did you hear that they probably won something in the fintech industry or something like that? You just need to know what is happening with this company. That's way. Once you have a meeting with this interviewer, once you have a meeting with the recruiter, and they get to know that you've done a little bit of a research about them, it makes them feel that you really want to join the company. It makes them feel like you really want to know more about the company. It gives you some points, in nailing this interview, because you should also know that you're not the only one interviewing for this role. Have this in mind. A lot of people are probably interviewing for this role. Say 5 or 10 people are interviewing for this same role. So you need to, kind of stand out in your interviews and, in the preparations that you're making in order to nail this first interview. So that's one. Secondly, as I said previously, you should know about the values of this company. Most times, most companies' values are listed on their website. So you can go through them, try to learn about their values and see if these values are even in line with what you want. It's important for you to know that when it comes to interviews, it's not just that the company is interviewing you for you to join. It's not necessarily that you're looking for a job, although you're looking for a job, but you're also interviewing them as well. You need to make sure that this company is a great fit for you. You need to make sure that the values in this company, just something that you want, something that you can work with. I don't know if that's clear enough, but yeah, this is why it's called an interview. It's a two-way street. Most times people see interviews as just the company trying to get to know you and you making sure you're trying to please them enough for them to recruit you, but as the interviewee, you also have your own power, because the company might want you, but you might not want them. It's also the opportunity for you to get to learn more about the company, dig into their values, dig into their mission statement. Is this something that you agree with? Is this something that you want to be a part of? Do you want to be a part of helping them meet this goal or meet this mission for their customers? And if this is something that you want to do, then of course you would feel, if you even have more drive to participate in this interview. Yeah. So if, for instance, you looked at the website and you couldn't find the values of the company or what they hold dear to themselves or how they work together, it can also be one of the questions you can ask them. We're going to talk about the questions towards the end of this video. So yeah, I'm going to give you some questions that I think are really good questions that you can ask on the first interview to get them to call you back and to get them to know that, okay, yeah, you're an interesting candidate. One other thing to look out for or to prepare for in your first interview is, of course, to know who is going to be talking to you. Who are you going to have this call with? Most times when recruiters send this invitation, they tell you you're probably going to have a call with so and so person, or you're going to have a call with themselves. It depends on how the email comes, but it's good for you to look out for who is going to interview you. If there's no name mentioned, then it's most probably the person that sends the email that's going to have the interview with you. So the best place, of course, on LinkedIn, you can just search for the person on LinkedIn, try to find out what the person is doing, like what's the person's role in the company and how this is linked to the job they are hiring you for. For instance, sometimes although we have like recruiters in companies, some recruiters recruit for certain teams or certain business areas in companies. So when you're looking at tech recruiters and then you're coming in as a tech person, you're coming in to work in the tech team, this person probably has a lot of experience of recruiting people in the tech industry for this particular team. This kind of thing you need to be looking out for. This way to help you also kind of know how to answer their questions, know what they are looking out for, know the kind of answers to give to them. Because if, for instance, you're interviewing or you're going to be interviewed by a recruiter and you go to prepare questions or you go to prepare for an interview that's supposed to be for a co-founder, you see that the questions might not really tally, and then the person that's going to answer the question might not really know how to answer your questions. That's why it's important to know who is going to be the interviewer in this first stage of the interview and what the person does. If in a situation it's going to be like a panel interview, which most times isn't the case for first interviews, they would also tell you who you're going to be talking to, and you also have to make a research on them. Know what they do, know their job positions or their job titles in the company you're joining. That's where you can also properly prepare for the interview. Now, the next thing, of course, is, for the interview itself, is that they will probably want to know more about you. They'll probably ask you, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Tell me a little bit about your experiences. It's important for you to know at this time that they don't want to know about things that are irrelevant to the job you're applying for. Because most times, in most occasions, the first interview is usually for 30 to 45 minutes long. So there's no much time for you to, talk about things that doesn't necessarily concern the job you're applying for. So it's important for you to just go straight to the point. Tell them, if, of course, you're just leaving school or you're still in school, it hits a little bit on that, about your educational background. And if you already have previous work experiences, you tell them a little bit about what you've been doing in the past and, how it also relates to this job you're applying for. You'll probably want to know why you're applying for this role, what inspired you to apply for this role, or what inspired you to want to join this company. This is where you can now use the knowledge of the values or the mission statement that you've learned on their website to answer this question. So that's why it's important for you to make a research on the company you're joining and what they do, and also for the role itself, it's important to also link this to what you've been doing in the past. Even if you don't have any previous experience with this particular role, you can link into what you want to do in the future, if this is in line with what you want your future goals or your future career paths to be. Like, recruiters want to know that you're motivated for this job. You know, it's an important thing for them to know you're motivated for the job. So it's good to always, keep the spirit on. And personally, I don't think you should apply for jobs you're not motivated for, jobs that you don't want to do, because it's going to also be a nightmare for you. So imagine you get the job and you start doing the job, you probably won't be happy doing it, and you would want to leave the company at some point. So that's why it's important for you to, make a good research, and make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into. Don't make it, don't take it too personal, but yeah, you get the drift, you get where I'm getting at. Personally, since I don't have a lot of experience working, I try to mention a little bit of my educational background, and then how this has brought me to Germany, and what I've been doing in the past years since I've been in Germany, and then how this experience is so far, it's making me apply for this role. This is like the kind of order I like to follow to, talk about myself when it comes to job interviews. That's way it gives me a line of thoughts. It makes me also stay, a little bit focused on what I'm talking about, because it's easy to, beat around the bush in this kind of situation. And this is what you don't want to happen. You don't want to make the interviewer feel like you're a little bit confused. Of course, you don't have to write this overnight and have to come and recite it. Of course not. That is never going to be the case. Please don't do that. Just that's why for me, I always like to follow this order. That's way it comes naturally, it flows naturally for me. So just look out for what works best for you, something that you can follow, that will help you put this in order. And please don't worry if it comes out wrong, or if it doesn't come out well. More interviews you make in the future, or more interviews you go through in the future, you become a little more confident, and you have like a better speech flow on your presentation of yourself and what your experiences have been in the past. Yeah. And something that's super important that most times they would ask you in your first interview is your salary expectation. Of course, you probably don't know what your salary expectation is, and that is why you need to make a research beforehand, for this role, because it's important that your salary expectation does not exceed the budget allowance for this particular role, or go below it. Sometimes some employers, when you say a salary expectation that is below the budget, they could give you more, but you don't know for sure. You're not 100% sure if this is going to be the case with you. So it's always good for you to come fortified. It's always good for you to have a knowledge of this. If you're in Germany, of course, you can check Glassdoor on the salary ranges of people that are working in this particular position. That way it gives you an insight. And when you're talking about your salary expectations, you don't just drop a figure and say, hey, this is so I want to sign so amount as a gross salary per year. Of course, you have to make it land softly. Don't just don't just come up and just pull up and throw a number there and just let it go. No, most times recruiters might not be willing to share their budgets with you. That's why they want to know what you expect from them. Me, what I like to say in this situation is that, of course, you probably have your own budget for this role. I'm like speaking to the recruiter now. You probably have your own budget for this role. However, based on my research on the compensation bracket for this position, I would like so amount. That way they know that first off, you made a research on this. Secondly, you're not asking for something that is out of the blue. You didn't just wake up one morning and just decide to call a particular figure. You're making a decision based on a particular data that you found in the market. Personally, I always like to ask if what I mentioned, like the compensation I mentioned, is below, within, or above the bracket. Most recruiters will tell you where it falls, if it's below or within, or if it's above, they will let you know. And then just so that you can also have an idea if you finally make it to the end, if you're going to expect this amount of money or don't, basically. So of course, towards the end of the interview, the recruiter or the interviewer would ask you if you have any questions. It's super important for you to ask questions. I'll be giving you 5 sample questions that you can ask at the interview. Don't go out there and tell them, hey, you don't have any questions. First of all, it tells them that you're not interested in the company. Secondly, it tells them you're not a serious person. Because you need to have questions. You need to know about them. So even if you ask questions in between, like having the conversation in the middle of the interview, you should also have some questions reserved for the last stage. The first question I like to ask is, what is the company's OKR for this quarter and probably for the next quarter? The reason I like to ask this question is because, of course, the company has their vision, they have their mission, and they have what they want to achieve maybe on the long run. But if you ask questions about the OKR for this quarter or for the next quarter, it kind of narrows it down to what they want to achieve in the next few months, and then that way you can also find out how you or how this role is going to help them achieve or get to this particular goal. And this is something that the recruiters would also know as well, because they are part of the company, and it's not something that you might probably find online. Most times you wouldn't find it, because it's like internal knowledge. You wouldn't find this information outside of the company. So someone that is in the company that would probably tell you this. Another question that could be very important is to know what the challenges of this role would be. If you already know or probably have like a little bit of an experience doing this particular job in a different company, you probably have an idea of what the general challenges would be. But then you want to find out what the challenge would be doing this particular role in this particular company or within this particular team. So this is something that you can ask the recruiter, and most times they will also have an answer to this, because if they're recruiting for this particular team or they're recruiting for this particular department, they would know what kind of challenges new joiners usually get in this particular role. In a situation where the interviewer is the hiring manager and not the recruiter, by hiring manager I mean the person that you would most likely be reporting to, like your direct boss or direct manager. In this situation, you can ask what the current pain points are that the team is currently facing, and how that way you can also know how you can help them rectify or how you can help them solve some of these problems that they're currently facing. This is also an interesting question for you to ask. Another question I find really important to ask is if the team likes to work collaboratively or more independently. How is their working system like? Do they all own tasks that they like to do by themselves on their own, or if it's something that they like to do in pairs or with the whole team? This helps you to know how you're going to be working within the company, and also know how the company likes to work, how the team likes to work within themselves. That way you can also make a proper decision. If you're the kind of person that likes to do more individualistic or more independent tasks, you'll know if this is a good fit for you or not, or if it's someone that likes to work within the team, or if you need collaboration, if you like to work collaboratively, and so on and so forth. This could also help you know what the working situation is going to be. Another question that personally I find it super interesting and super important for me to know is what the company does about diversity and inclusion. Looking at me, I am not only Black, I'm also a woman. So I need to know what the company is doing in order to promote diversity and inclusion. And this is something that the recruiter can tell you, at least from a surface level. You want to know more about how diverse the team is. You need to know how receptive the company is to diversity and inclusion. And you also want to know if you would feel comfortable working in that kind of environment. Are there other people that look like you working there? Are there other people that you can relate to, that their stories are in line with yours, they're working there? You also want to know how people that are of the same race with you are finding working in these companies. If it's a good place for them to work, if it's diverse and inclusive enough for you. Because sometimes companies can say a lot of things about diversity and inclusion. They might just say whatever to attract people, but it's important for you to know how the people that are actually working there, if the company is diverse enough, or to even know the stage of diversity they are in. They're probably trying to get used to being diverse. They're probably trying to open up to being diverse, and you might probably be the first Black person or the first Asian person or the first Hispanic person going to work there. So you need to know what stage of diversity and inclusion the company is currently in, and how it fits, or how you fit into it, and how comfortable you would feel working in this kind of space. Yeah. And then the last question I like to ask, of course, is to find out from the recruiters what are the stages of the interviews. Like, what are the interview stages? How many stages of interviews are there for this role? And what the next steps would be in this situation. Anyway, yeah, this is the end of this video. I hope you find it really helpful. I hope you nail it at this first interview. Please let me know if you found this really helpful. Let me know how it helped you through your interview process, because it will give me joy to know that the information I'm giving to you, you actually put it into practice, and you made it to the next round. And yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. Leave your comments in the comment section. If there's anything that you think that I should I probably missed, or any question you think I probably missed, or anything you think is important for us to know about, please leave in the comment section. I'm sure that other people also read through your comments and they could also get one or two knowledge, or one or two things out of this. So yeah, if there's anything else you need me to talk about, please let me know in the comment section as well. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much.